Coming out of Tuesday, a lot of people were still confused as to what was going on, even after I had fully explained it on my SmackDown Live review. People still didn't understand why I said it was a good thing that Kofi Kingston was removed from the WWE Championship match at Fastlane against Daniel Bryan. A Daniel Bryan that he would have undoubtedly lost against in some form or fashion for the WWE Championship. I don't know why this is a bad thing to everybody that is watching the current state of the main event scene on SmackDown Live. Oh, WWE is racist. This has racist implications. Oh, they just don't want to push the black man. People even calling me racist, and I know for a fact they didn't watch the whole fucking video, or they just wanted to hear what they wanted to hear. They legitimately read the thumbnail, and it said, Kofi Kingston was replaced by Kevin Owens at Fastlane, and it's great. People thought that I was actually siding with the fact that WWE put Kevin Owens against Daniel Bryan at Fastlane for the WWE title, and it was better than what they were going to give us with Kofi Kingston. No! It's not. It was a play on everybody that is complaining about the KOFIMANIA situation going into WrestleMania. Oh, he's not going to get his moment now. What are they doing? How can they do this? Kevin Owens hasn't done shit. He was hurt for all these months, and now he's coming back and he's getting a title shot that he don't even deserve. Calm down. Calm down. It's not that big of a deal, folks. It's not that big of a deal. This is going to set up Kofi Kingston at WrestleMania in a situation that literally nobody thought that he would be in. A situation that we wanted him to be in, or at least some of us. I'm going to go over it again today. I still don't look at Kofi Kingston as a WWE champion. I don't think he's WWE Championship material. And please, don't complain that I said that. It is my opinion. I look at certain people and I just don't see WWE champion. Nothing wrong in that. At all. Some people look at Johnny Gargano and don't think he's a world champion caliber wrestler. I do. You might not think so. Some people look at Tommaso Ciampa and don't think he is a world champion caliber wrestler. I do. You might not. Some people think I'm fucking crazy when I say I think the Velveteen Dream is going to be the WWE champion someday. I mean that wholeheartedly. I think the Velveteen Dream is going to be the WWE champion someday when it's right that he makes his main roster debut. He will be right in the thick of things when that time is right. And Kofi Kingston possibly doing this at WrestleMania is going to open that door for that to happen. But for people to come on here and say that I'm racist, that I have something against the black superstars, I've been praising the Velveteen Dream for God knows how long. I've stated months ago that I think, amidst ridicule, by the way, because most of you didn't believe me when I said it, that he's going to be a WWE champion. So, the race card with this whole Kofi Kingston thing is out the window. I want you guys to sit down and use your brain logically with this entire situation. This was a great thing that happened on Tuesday night. It might not look like it now, but the probability of what you want to happen at WrestleMania just went through the roof. Now, when did this all come about? When did Vince McMahon decide to switch Kofi Kingston for Kevin Owens at Fastlane? Now, there were reports coming out that, yes, Kofi had a great Elimination Chamber. He had a great gauntlet match. Going into the Elimination Chamber, a second grader could have booked the situation that was in the Elimination Chamber. The way that thing ended up. There was no doubt in my mind with Kofi doing the gauntlet 1 hour and all that stuff that happened during that week there was no doubt in my mind that he was going to be the last one in there with Daniel Bryan. It was just something that needed to happen. But coming out of that, Vince gave Kofi the WWE Championship match originally based on what he did inside the Elimination Chamber. So, when did Kevin Owens come into play? He made his return. He's been promising this for weeks. You know, some people were very ignorant as well. Oh, Kevin Owens comes back looking the same. He looks like he hasn't lost any weight. Looks like he's been to the tattoo parlor more than he has the gym. Doesn't take away from Kevin Owens that he's a great athlete. So, I don't understand what all the criticism is about. Kevin Owens was sorely missed on WWE television. He is one of the best guys right now that they have on the main roster. Same goes for Sami Zayn. I can't wait for him to come back as well. He did not return as a heel. He came back as a somewhat babyface. It was an in-between. He was heel in the beginning of the show, and then he was portrayed as a babyface at the end of the show. Everybody figured, we got to boo this guy because he's coming in and taking Kofi's spot. He's appointed by Vince McMahon now to take Kofi's spot. And then Kevin Owens kind of flipped the switch on everybody in the middle of the show. He wanted to team with Kofi against Daniel Bryan and Rowan. So plans were changed, and Vince was behind this decision as always. Now, there are reports that Kofi Kingston was set to have his WWE Championship match at Fastlane until last week. That is when Vince McMahon decided to pull him and replace Kofi with Kevin Owens. Now, there is more than one person citing this source within the WWE that the decision to move Kofi out of the spot and put Kevin Owens in there, it was made last week. So this was made right before SmackDown. Kofi Kingston losing his WWE title match at Fastlane could be a very good thing for him in the end. And I will explain this as we continue on. Daniel Bryan, just keep this in mind, Daniel Bryan received a similar push out of a huge, just overwhelming campaign of support going into WrestleMania 30. Bryan is the very man that Kofi Kingston will need to defeat in order to make his WrestleMania moment become a reality this year. Now, we know when. The other question is, why did Vince McMahon pull Kofi Kingston from the Fastlane WWE title match? Now, Kevin Owens actually, I guess, facilitated things here. I don't know what type of character he's playing. He went from heel to babyface, and then he's a heel back on Twitter. I know, because he unblocked me for whatever reason. Thank God, because I love Kevin Owens, man. Kind of shitty that I never said anything negatively about him, and he ended up blocking me. But I'm unbenched, apparently. I just found this out a couple of days ago. Now, there was an emotional backstage promo at SmackDown Live. Kevin Owens had time to collect himself. Then he realized that Vince McMahon made the right decision. In the end, he made the right decision by placing him in the WWE title match at Fastlane. Everybody thinks you made the right decision and loves you for it at Vince McMahon. P.S. Don't check your mentions. End quote. Kevin Owens has been receiving a ton of hate from passionate Kofi Kingston fans. I don't know why. Calm the fuck down. You know, some of you people, a lot of people, the trolls mainly, they come on here and they state, "Oh, JD, he's yelling about a fake sport." Okay. So what? You're yelling about a fake sport in the UFC, too. Don't at me. Fuck out of here, that rigged bullshit. Anyway, or you UFC fans out there. Anyway, people are just lighting up Kevin Owens' Twitter account and his social media pages with all this hatred for whatever reason, as if it's his fault. Like he just came onto SmackDown Live and inserted himself in the championship match. Vince McMahon's timeline is usually full of absolute hatred towards his decision and the product because it sucks as of late. So it's probably nothing new for the person in charge of Vince McMahon's social media account. I doubt he monitors it himself. Until Kofi Kingston receives his WWE title shot, it is very likely that fans will continue to chant for Kofi no matter what is going to happen in the WWE title match at Fastlane. According to Kevin Owens, Vince McMahon is loved by everyone for making this decision. Now, Kofi Kingston was set to sign the contract for the WWE title match at Fastlane during SmackDown Live. Vince McMahon had other plans, pulled him, replaced him with Kevin Owens. That was the whole situation. This is almost exactly what he did to Becky Lynch, only Vince didn't use an arm injury or an attitude as an excuse. He just thought Kevin Owens would bring a better box office draw to Fastlane. Dave Meltzer chimed in. He discussed this switch during Wrestling Observer Radio, where he explained that WWE's plans for Kofi Kingston are not done. In fact, this change could have set up even something bigger for everyone on the Kofi bandwagon. It appears, he says, that they flip-flopped Kevin Owens and Kofi Kingston because it was very clear that they're going to do Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston, and if they're not going to do it at Fastlane, and Kevin Owens is getting the shot at Fastlane, then that probably means Kofi Kingston is getting the shot at WrestleMania. So that's changed again in the last week because Kevin Owens was the one getting the shot at Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania in the original plans. So maybe they didn't want to beat Kofi Kingston, and because of the way the plans were, if Daniel Bryan fought Kofi Kingston, then they would have to beat Kofi Kingston, so maybe they put Kofi Kingston over at WrestleMania. End quote. It was also proposed that WWE could always turn the WWE title match into a triple threat at Fastlane with Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, and Kofi Kingston. Whatever the plan is, if you're one of the fans that are incredibly upset to see Kofi Kingston get, quote-unquote, screwed over, it will be okay because clearly there is a plan in place. Now, Kofi Kingston releases heartfelt statement about being replaced by Kevin Owens at Fastlane. Kofi Kingston said this, and I quote, "I need to take a couple of days to process what actually happened. Shock, sadness, emptiness, frustration, anger, confusion are all but a few feelings on a roller coaster of emotions. My entire career has been a series of ups and downs, starts and stops. I really shouldn't be surprised, but this one hurt. We came so close. And I say we because this journey has been bigger than just me. It's Wood's journey. It's E's journey. It's every one of you who has followed and supported my career for the past 11 years. To have it all stripped away so suddenly is painful, to put it mildly. I appreciate you more than you know, and I thank all of you for your love and support. Mark my words, we will be back. This journey does not end here." End quote. In all reality, Kofi Kingston losing the match at Fastlane is probably the best thing for him. As long as KOFIMANIA is still a thing, he will see WrestleMania and a WWE title match opportunity. Simple, folks. It is simple. It is basic wrestling booking 101. WWE realized, and I still go back to the Elimination Chamber. Now, I do not think that Kofi Kingston was in the plans for WrestleMania. I honestly think this is where it does draw similarities, or it's got a similar feeling to the whole Daniel Bryan situation. This is where it draws the similarities to that during WrestleMania 30. It's because they didn't know what they had in Daniel Bryan, and it's the same way here. They don't know what they have or what they see as far as Kofi Kingston and the fan reaction to what is going on here. They didn't see it at the Elimination Chamber. If WWE really wanted to capitalize on this then, that would have been the absolute most brilliant time to do it. Because everybody's emotions were running high. People wanted it so badly then. They were on this week journey. You got everybody's hopes up. And then when it didn't happen, people and their emotions, they were just, you took a pin and you popped that balloon. Dead. And everybody was just so sad. Everybody was frustrated. When is he going to get the opportunity? And Daniel Bryan beat Kofi Kingston clean. Now, WWE clearly realized what they did was probably a mistake coming out of the Elimination Chamber, and they scrambled on the SmackDown Live following the Elimination Chamber to get Kofi back in contention by some way. They had a 6-man tag, and they appointed him the number one contender. I guess based off his body of work, he didn't really do anything coming out of those two situations to get another opportunity. It could have easily went to somebody else. Shane McMahon came out there and appointed Kofi Kingston the number one contender based on just literally everything. I'm sure everything had a factor in that decision. It was the body of work, the fact that he went an hour, the fact that he lasted in the Elimination Chamber, came so close, the fan reaction, everybody on Kofi's side. And Shane McMahon, I'm assuming, if you want to look at it logically, he thought this guy deserves a one-on-one shot. I want to see what he's made of. I'm giving you the opportunity. You know? You deserve the opportunity. You came so close. I want to see what you could do outside the structure with Daniel Bryan on your own. It makes sense. It makes sense. So then Vince McMahon comes out the following week, and the contract is about to be signed, and he wants to appoint Kevin Owens in the match and take out Kofi Kingston. Now, there are a few things to go about when looking at this. Number one, Vince McMahon said that Kevin Owens is a bigger box office draw. I wouldn't necessarily say that. I don't think anybody's a box office draw. In fact, I think more people are tuned in to what Kofi is doing now than Kevin Owens. So that's a dead moot point right there. Number two, yes, it is the better match, but it's not the match that we all want to see, or you guys in general. I don't really care either way. I'm happy in either direction. I'm not really too high on Kofi Kingston as WWE Champion, but I'm also playing the same side of the fence with you guys that I don't mind if they do put the WWE Championship on him. I think it's going to be a great moment regardless, and we could use some great moments in wrestling and in the WWE. Is it going to be a better match with Kevin Owens and Daniel Bryan? Probably. But it's not the match that we want. Now, everybody's complaining, oh, how could you put Kevin Owens in this situation and take out Kofi Kingston? Kevin Owens didn't do anything to deserve it. Well, honestly, if you're looking at it that way, you need to start opening your eyes a little bit more. And I mentioned this on SmackDown Live. Kofi Kingston being removed from this title match does two things. One, it creates anticipation going into WrestleMania. Daniel Bryan had no other opponent going into WrestleMania. Nobody. Even before the Elimination Chamber, they had nobody. It was a list of names, possible names. John Cena, The Undertaker, Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels, Batista, all these names, all these different names just being thrown at the wall as a possible opponent for Daniel Bryan. Bray Wyatt was another one, right? They had no plans for Daniel Bryan. This is literally the best thing that could happen for Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan if you really want to look at it. Now he's got plans. Unexpected plans. Plans that just materialize out of thin air, but he's got fucking plans. Kofi Kingston is in a situation now where everybody's going to anticipate him. The anticipation is growing higher and higher, bigger and bigger for Kofi Kingston getting that opportunity. You're mad. You're mad now. Vince knows you're mad. So when Vince announces that Kofi is getting the shot at WrestleMania, or he ends up in the WrestleMania title match by some way, everybody's going to be, oh my God, it's happening, it's happening. Your anticipation for it is going to be even bigger than it was going into the chamber, going into the contract signing. You got to calm down. Him being removed from the WWE title match at Fastlane, they didn't want to beat him. If they beat Kofi, Kofi gets no more shots. This would be the end. KOFIMANIA would be nothing. Would you rather him lose at Fastlane or go to WrestleMania? Which one do you want? Because if he lost at Fastlane, we wouldn't be talking about WrestleMania. And if he's not at Fastlane, now he's in WrestleMania. You think WWE did this just because they don't like Kofi? They're going to give him something and pull it away? Typical babyface mentality. Let's build it up. We got something here now. We're going to do our best to build it up. They gave, they took, you get pissed. When he gets added, you get happy again. And now we got a must-see match and a WrestleMania moment in the making at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. And Kofi Kingston legitimately could be the first black WWE champion at WrestleMania of all places, and we could all celebrate. So I don't understand why everybody is so upset. The probability of him getting the title match and the title just went through the fucking roof. And who's to say it's only going to be Kofi? Kevin Owens might be added. We might get Mustafa Ali getting added. There's a lot of other X factors here. Maybe WWE doesn't want. Daniel Bryan's taken a lot of pinfalls as of late. For whatever reason. I don't know. It's very uncomfortable to me to see the WWE champion, or a champion in general, just pinned so often. Just out of the blue. Mustafa Ali pinned him. Kofi pinned him. I think Daniel Bryan's taken enough pinfall losses here in tag team environments. We got to start changing that a little bit. Maybe they do a fatal four-way. Mustafa Ali is an X Factor. Remember, he is the one guy who Kofi is running his entire storyline. Kofi is pretty much doing what Mustafa Ali was planned to do. Now, I don't know if Mustafa Ali would have taken this all the way to WrestleMania, but for whatever happened at the Elimination Chamber, that was supposed to be all Mustafa Ali. Now I think WWE has realized, well, people on Kofi's bandwagon now, Kofi Kingston's got all this fan support, let's run with it to WrestleMania. Mustafa Ali maybe get added to the mix here, and we get a triple threat match. Kevin Owens might vouch that he got fucked over, maybe depending on the ending at the Elimination Chamber. We may get a triple threat match or a fatal four-way in this situation. Either way you're looking at it, Kofi Kingston is probably going to be in the WWE Championship match at WrestleMania, and I don't necessarily see this as a bad thing. This is a very good thing. And again, I stated before, I don't see WWE, before all this happened, I don't see Kofi Kingston as the WWE champion. I just don't. But it is going to be a feel-good moment. It is going to be a historic moment. It's going to be a WrestleMania moment. And for someone like Kofi to pin Daniel Bryan, I could see that because Daniel Bryan has been giving and giving and giving. Daniel Bryan's been wanting to make new stars. He's wanted competition. And I could see Daniel Bryan being that unselfish entity here in the WWE, wanting to do for Kofi what everybody did for him back at WrestleMania 30. And the fact of the matter is, and I hope this is the case, when WWE eventually puts the title on Kofi Kingston here at WrestleMania, I hope we genuinely get a sense of change. I hope that his character kind of sheds that New Day stuff just a little bit, and he branches out on his own and becomes a little bit more individual on his own. Creates his own path away from Xavier Woods and Big E. That's what I hope. Now, I don't want them turning heel. I don't want them completely breaking up the New Day. I think the New Day is still very marketable. I think the New Day is still very important. Xavier Woods and Big E are going to have to do something on their own. Maybe they replace Kofi Kingston. Maybe they just continue the New Day without Kofi Kingston. Maybe he still has some ties to the New Day, but he's not fully in the New Day, being that he's the WWE champion. I don't know where they're going to go with it. I really don't know where they're going to go with it. But the one thing I think I love more about this than anything is the fact that this was unpredictable. This came out of left field. And the simple fact that we're getting something at WrestleMania that we've never gotten before with somebody that we totally did not anticipate. Now, that's the one aspect of this I can appreciate. I don't necessarily see Kofi as a WWE champion or WWE championship material, just based on, what he's done the last 4 or 5 years with the New Day. I just don't. If you're asking me honestly, Kofi with that whole, ruthless aggression-like attitude towards Randy Orton when he was starting to come into his own, where he destroyed Randy Orton's race car and poured paint all over it and fucking just destroyed it. That's Kofi Kingston to me. That's the time that they should have really sat down and thought, well, maybe this guy's got what it takes to be the WWE champion. Now that he went from that and into the New Day, it's very difficult to come out of the whole New Day thing and look at him as a WWE champion. It's a lot more easier to digest when he was that ruthless aggression Kofi Kingston, feuding with Randy Orton, bringing out that other level of intensity that we've never seen from him before. That's when I could look back at Kofi and think that he's a WWE champion. So you really can't blame me or anybody for not looking at Kofi Kingston as the WWE champion in this particular iteration of Kofi Kingston. But whatever the case may be, I hope that we really do start to see some, Kofi break out and just go on his own and be his own individual here away from the New Day. If this is where they really want to go with it, they got to go all the way with it. He can't be WWE champion flipping pancakes into the fucking crowd. That's not really what I want or want to see from the WWE champion. There's a certain level of prestige. There's a certain level of a way that you got to carry yourself, being that they put you in that position. So we'll see what happens. But I think everybody right now is blowing this completely out of proportion. And this is going to be a great thing. There's a lot more positives than this, than there are negatives. And I think a lot of people right now are getting all triggered and salty for absolutely no reason. I don't usually say WWE knows what they're doing, but clearly they got plans for Kofi Kingston if they intentionally pulled him from the title match at Fastlane. Clearly they got some plans for him at WrestleMania, and WWE might have booked themselves into a fucking corner with this removal of Kofi Kingston from the Fastlane main event, because if they're intentionally moving him like that, they may be forced, they may have no other choice but to give him the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. You're not going to pull someone like that and then not give the fans what they want. They will never let you go just based off that situation. They will never let that situation go. They will haunt you until you're fucking dead with this situation if you don't give them what they want, if you don't give Kofi what they think he deserves. So they may have booked themselves into a proverbial corner here with the WWE Championship match. Now, the last bit of news here. This is the cherry on top of the cake for everybody. The current plan for the WWE Championship match at WrestleMania is exactly what I stated it would be. Meltzer added, Vince McMahon made this decision last week to change plans and have Owens face Bryan at Fastlane. At one point, the plan was for Mustafa Ali to face Bryan at Fastlane, but Ali has not been cleared yet and is suffering from a concussion. Dave Meltzer was told on Tuesday night, the current plan is for Kofi Kingston to face Daniel Bryan at Mania for the WWE title, and they are considering giving him the belt. On TV, WWE's been pushing the fact that he's never gotten a shot at a major title in 11 years he's been with the company. Sources have been told that Vince McMahon decided it would be a better story if he got his first title shot at WrestleMania. There you go, folks. There you go. Xavier Woods and Big E have been lobbying for Kingston to get a world title run, and others in the company are behind him. From all accounts, Kingston is one of the most liked wrestlers in the entire locker room. Sweat it out, people. Patience. You know how long us Daniel Bryan fans had to wait? Every single fucking thing that WWE did to put a roadblock in front of that man, we bitched and complained about it. Now, WWE might not have had plans for Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, but we made the fucking plans for Daniel Bryan. And how much sweeter it was in the end. This might be materializing a little bit too quick for Kofi Kingston, but I honestly think if that is the case, Vince McMahon obviously sees this. Vince McMahon knows that WrestleMania is probably the best place to do it, and you're all going to get what you wanted. Kofi Kingston, instead of winning it at the Elimination Chamber or being jobbed at Fastlane, he's going to end up getting the title match at WrestleMania. So I don't think anybody should be bitching, complaining, ranting, raving, moaning on this entire situation. I don't trust this company with anything. But if it's something like this, this was not done to just do it and then not go back to it. This was done because there is a plan in place. Now, I want to harp on what I did mention a couple of weeks ago on Off the Script. I felt like everybody jumping on the Kofi Kingston bandwagon was really just looking for something to just be a part of. And I questioned where everybody was for the last 11 years. I questioned people being in the same boat that I was in. You know, the New Day's boring, the New Day's stale. Kofi was obviously a part of the New Day. Where was this support for Kofi Kingston that just literally just came out of nowhere? Yeah, there's been support for Kofi Kingston, but it's never been this big. It's never been this big. And I stand behind what I say. I'm on board. Listen, I don't want to take anything away from Kofi Kingston. I am on board with all this. I just don't see him as a WWE champion in the long run. I honestly think it's going to be something to give him the title, give him that moment, and it's not going to last all that long. I just don't see it. And you can't fault me for that. But I stand behind what I stated, that if this was Mustafa Ali in this situation, you really don't know how far Mustafa Ali could have taken this thing. If Mustafa Ali went 1 hour in the gauntlet match, I think people would be solely behind Mustafa Ali in this situation, just like they are Kofi Kingston. Because, yes, Kofi has that 11 years over Mustafa Ali, but it's that underdog, undying fucking presence that a babyface just exudes. And Mustafa Ali is that. He really is that. So I honestly think if you put Mustafa Ali, and if that was the original way to go in that gauntlet match, and Mustafa Ali lasted all the way to the end of that thing, pinned Daniel Bryan, beat Samoa Joe, lasted all the way until the RKO at Randy Orton, I honestly think people would have been completely in Mustafa Ali's corner. And then going into the Elimination Chamber, and then him being the last guy in there with Daniel Bryan and coming this close, people are telling me, oh, Mustafa Ali wouldn't have been as over as Kofi Kingston. How the fuck do you know? Did you go back in a time warp? Did you put yourself in that crowd with Mustafa Ali in there? Did you see physically what happened? How the fuck do you know? I mean, it's very difficult not to cheer somebody or get behind somebody in a babyface fashion in pro wrestling after going an hour, lasting an hour, and then lasting all the way to the end with the WWE Championship, and then coming this close, a cunt's hair from the WWE Championship. You mean to tell me you wouldn't be behind Mustafa Ali if he was in there instead of Kofi Kingston? Come on, man. It's bullshit. You can't say that and wholeheartedly mean that. It's ridiculous. Even if it wasn't Mustafa Ali, you could have put anybody in that situation. You could have put Dolph Ziggler in that situation. He's just a long-tenured veteran as Kofi Kingston is. You could have put anybody in that situation. You could have put Johnny Gargano in that situation. Nobody fucking knows Johnny Gargano on the main roster. People would have been all over that shit. Come on, man. I think people really embellish the entire situation, making it seem bigger or unattainable to anybody else other than Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston took on this new lore in the WWE for whatever reason. It's Kofi fucking Kingston. This guy's been throwing pancakes around and gyrating for the last 5 years. Come on, man. You got to open your eyes a little bit of logic. Seriously. Yeah, Kofi's an 11-year veteran, but that doesn't mean that he deserves a WWE Championship. People fall into certain positions, and they are in that position for the rest of their WWE career. You're either mid-card or main event. I don't see Kofi as a main event. The reality of the situation is, yeah, it's going to be great. I have no problems with it, but it's not something that's going to last. It's not something that's going to be the thing SmackDown Live builds itself around in 2019. Kofi Kingston's not the guy you're going to build SmackDown Live around going into October. It's not. You guys are blowing it completely out of proportion, and then you wonder why some people shit on such a good moment. It's because people make it out to be something more important than it really is. It might be important to you. Great. But you got to take it for what it is. A great moment that WWE's capitalizing on because they had no prior plans. I don't know what's worse, you people hyping this up to be some mega moment, making it more important than it is, or the fact that WWE doesn't have plans going into WrestleMania for its best heel, who's the WWE Champion. Come on, man. They're riding the wave because they have nobody else. This wasn't the plan for WrestleMania back in February. They're taking this now because they know they have nothing else. They're too lazy to write, and they figured, why not go with Kofi? Why not? We can do this and make it special. It literally fell into their lap. Not saying that's bad. Sometimes, if it falls into your lap like this, it ends up being some of the best storytelling that they could tell. Same thing happened with Aleister Black. His injury just befell NXT, and look at what WWE did. They made fucking a masterpiece out of it. Quick thinking. That's what I like to see too. WWE, quick thinking and thinking on their feet instead of long-term planning sometimes. You know, you push their back against the wall with a situation like this that they didn't really expect, and now you really get to see what they could do in this situation. They're running with it because they had no prior plans. Not saying that it's not going to be special. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I don't want to see it. I think it's going to be great. Daniel Bryan may end up getting the title back after this is all over, and he just might want to do the favor to Kofi Kingston and give him the WrestleMania moment. So I don't see this lasting. It's going to last through WrestleMania, and then KOFIMANIA is going to be one and done. You'll get what you want, and then WWE will go back to its regularly scheduled program going into Fox in October. But just please calm down about the entire Kofi Kingston situation. It's great. It's great. Just let it materialize. Let it do what it needs to do at WrestleMania, and then we'll worry about what happens afterwards. But I just don't see this being a lasting thing for SmackDown Live. So those are my thoughts. I don't want to talk about this shit anymore. The fact that this was all in the news, I needed to make a statement on this for part 3. Those are my thoughts on Kofi Kingston. I don't want to talk about this anymore. It is exactly what I stated it is here. Don't get too upset. There are plans in place for Kofi at WrestleMania. WWE is not going to pull him intentionally like that without having a plan for him in place. Like I said, they proverbially put themselves into a corner with this situation, and they're going to be forced to give Kofi Kingston the WWE Championship. You just got to calm down, be patient, and just ride the wave. Take this journey with Kofi into New Jersey, where things may end up exactly how you want. I got more news, man. Plus, I got a wrestling box on... Well, Jesus Christ. I got a fucking wrestling club unboxing, man. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing today. Still recovering from a stomach virus that's just beating the shit out of me for the past 48 hours, man. But I got that wrestling club unboxing. I got news on Sami Zayn. WWE apparently has got big plans for Dean Ambrose. And Tommaso Ciampa is suffering from a serious neck injury that may result in WWE rewriting plans for him for NXT TakeOver, man. This is terrible news. Holy shit. So all that plus so much more, man, right here on part 3 of Off the Script, episode 263 for your Sunday. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Off this shitty fucking product by coming on here and speaking the fucking goddamn truth about this fucking filth. And I can book a better show taking a fucking dump after eating my fucking Chipotle chorizo with extra cheese. I don't give a fuck what anybody has to say. Have I ever? Of course not.
WWE is great, man. Fuck you, Japan, and Kenny Omega, Okada. Sonny! What is it, man? Can I suck your dick? What is it, man?
And this is the #1 fucking podcast.
Right here on YouTube.com. This
is Off the Script. What is going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining me here on Off the Script. This is episode 263, part number 3 for your March 3rd, 2019. It's not going to be one of those long, extensive episodes that you guys are used to here on the weekend. I am pretty much at the bottom of the barrel as far as news goes, but I still have some really, really big stories for you today right here on the podcast. I am, of course, JD. Thank you guys so much for joining me all weekend. If you guys want, please do so. Hit the thumbs up down below and show your support for the video. I would really, really, really appreciate if you guys can do that. I do have some major stories, man. Also, like I mentioned, Dean Ambrose. We have new news on Dean Ambrose and possible big plans from the WWE as it involves Dean Ambrose's character moving forward. Tommaso Ciampa and the neck injury that is feared to be serious to a point where they have to rewrite NXT plans. Also, WWE's plans for Sami Zayn and his return. And WWE has no plans to do a part 2 of Evolution, the all-women's pay-per-view. We'll go over all of that today on the podcast, man. Make sure you guys go and get your t-shirts, man. We are dangerously close to 200 sold. You guys are absolutely kicking ass as far as this campaign goes, man. Unbelievable. I got to shout out Ramon, Franco, Brandon. I got to shout out Matt again, Jen, Crash, Preston, Joshua, Blake, Wayne, and Kurt A. Thank you guys so much for supporting JD's Elite, now available exclusively on bonfire.com. The link, if you guys want your own, is down in the description of this very video. I just got notification that the first batch of shirts are being shipped out as we speak, man. So you guys should be getting them within the next week or so. So let me know, man. Tweet me on Twitter. Photograph yourself wearing the t-shirt or of the t-shirt by itself, and I will retweet you guys, man. Thank you guys so much for being a part of my elite. If you guys want to go get yours, I would really, really appreciate it, man. Let's have a better month of March than we did in February, man. We got a nice little goal to attain right here for March, man. So let's do it. It's WrestleMania season, and if I'm going to be meeting and greeting you guys during WrestleMania season, I want to see you being a part of my elite. You guys know the deal on social media, man. At JD from NY206 on both Twitter and Instagram. Thank you for all the new followers on Instagram. JD from New York on Twitch. Sometimes I do the video game thing, sometimes I don't. So if you guys want to hop on over there and follow me on Twitch, you guys can certainly do so. Hit that subscribe button down below and turn on that bell for all notifications. Make sure when you click the bell, make sure to notify yourself of all uploads and just not some uploads. It's got to be all uploads. And patreon.com/JD from NY206. Thank you to everybody that has supported me on Patreon. You guys know who you are. If you guys want to go over there and support the show, it is one of the best ways to do that, and you get off the script a little bit early, as always, every single week. I got to shout out Russian KD. He was the last one, and then Tori raising her pledge from $1 to $5, man. Thank you so very much for the month of March already. We're off and running on Patreon. Patreon.com/JD from NY206, man. Please make sure you guys go and check out all the other videos if you missed them. Did you goons get any recent videos in your sub boxes and you didn't catch up on them? Well, please go and do that, man. There's a lot of great content right there on the channel. Starting from Monday with Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, NXT, the big three. We cover them every single week in their entirety. So make sure you guys go and check all those reviews out if you did miss those. I did an off-the-script extra on AEW signing major independent women's star, also Brandy Rhodes, scouting former WWE diva. So if you guys want to go check in on that, that was uploaded on Thursday. The sad truth of Roman Reigns returning to the WWE, that was a great one on Friday. And then on Saturday, we talked about the Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey Twitter war that was just downright cringe at some points and really exposed a lot of what WWE doesn't want out there, and you can understand why Vince McMahon was serious about all this on just social media, man. He was furious about everything that just came out in that little Twitter beef with Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch. So make sure you guys go and check all that stuff out if you did miss it. Available this week on the channel. That is for your entertainment this weekend, man. Harry's, you guys know the deal with Harry's. Harry's.com/script. If you guys want to be a part of the 10 million that have supported Harry's, that have used Harry's, all you have to do is go and use our unique link, harrys.com/script. What you're going to get is a free trial shave set, $13 value for absolutely free, man. Why Harry's? Why do you need to shave with Harry's? Well, Harry's founders were tired of paying for razors that were overpriced, overdesigned, gimmicks that these other brands were using, like vibrating heads and flex balls and spaceship-looking handles, man. It was just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. These are tactics that are used by the leading brands to raise prices, and this has been used for decades. They fixed that by combining a simple, clean design with quality, durable blades, and a fair price. Harry's actually bought a world-class blade factory as well in Germany that's been making quality blades for over 95 years, and they have received over 20,000 five-star reviews on Trustpilot and Google alone. All Harry's blades come with a 100% quality guarantee, and if you don't love your shave, let them know and they'll give you a full refund. What you're going to get is the following. You're going to get a razor handle. Choice of color is yours. The orange, the navy blue, or the evergreen. A 5-blade razor with a lubricating strip and a trimmer blade. Rich lathering shave gel. And a travel blade cover as well, whether you are a man on the go or if you just like your razor to look pretty sitting on your bathroom sink like I do, man. Either way, it works. Listeners of the show can redeem their trial set by going to harrys.com/script. Make sure you get your free trial today by going to harrys.com/script and let them know that JD and Off the Script sent you, man. Happy shaving to everybody with Harry's, man. Thank you guys so very much for all your support. Let's get into the news, man. I got news. Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn is set to return to the WWE. We don't know when, but he's ready to make his comeback to the WWE. Sami Zayn needed double shoulder surgery, but this time he is recovering from his injury, and now it is all complete. His rehabilitation is complete, according to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio. This is great news, but if it makes you wonder if he's joining Kevin Owens or not, join the list. Join the list. We don't know where he's going. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn's careers have paralleled each other in a lot of ways. Not only did they start in the same territory in Canada, but they also met several times on the indies. Their battles are legendary on the indie circuit and were brutal displays of how far you can take it when wrestling your best friend. Exactly what Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano are doing right now. Probably one of the reasons why I love the feud and the storyline so much is because they are best friends in real life. Zayn came to the WWE before Owens, but once the two were in NXT together, the two started an immediate rivalry. The idea that they might actually fight forever could ultimately become a reality. Only time will tell when Sami Zayn will make his return. Kevin Owens coming back to replace Kofi Kingston was certainly a shock for a lot of fans. Hopefully WWE will have something for Sami Zayn because he is incredibly gifted in the ring and he's not so bad on the microphone. Bruce Prichard's new WWE role hopefully comes into play for Sami Zayn. I would like to see what he does as far as Sami Zayn goes, man. I don't know where Sami Zayn should go, to be perfectly honest with you. I honestly think that Sami Zayn should be teamed with Kevin Owens. I think that their pairing was great, and I didn't really get enough of it. That's just my honest opinion, and I feel like they could be a duo that could do both the singles thing and the tag team thing. You could put them in a tag team capacity, and they could fucking light the world on fire. You could put them in a singles role, and they could each individually do what they need to do. I honestly think that they are better off together than separating them. I think if Sami Zayn is going to go anywhere right now, just by the landscape of things, it would be to Monday Night Raw. And I don't want Sami Zayn to go to Monday Night Raw because Monday Night Raw, A, is the land of the giants. I don't think Sami Zayn would accomplish anything on Monday Night Raw, especially with the Roman agenda right now being pushed on Monday Night Raw. It's going to swallow everyone whole. I honestly think Sami Zayn should return to SmackDown Live. Whether he is aligned with Kevin Owens or not, I don't care. I think SmackDown Live better suits Sami Zayn just based on who Sami Zayn is and the type of wrestler he is. There's more to do on SmackDown than there is Monday Night Raw. But ultimately, I think a pairing of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn is probably what's best for both men right now, right out of the gate, until WWE comes up with some concrete plans on what they want to do with each guy individually. I think they should be together. That is my idea for Sami Zayn. WWE has big plans for Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose is apparently leaving WWE after his contract is up. That is as of right now. But he rejected a huge offer from WWE, and the money is not important to him at all. He wants to be creatively happy. And WWE even released an announcement saying that he will be leaving, but the door is open for him to come back. With Roman Reigns returning to the WWE, he said that he will take care of Dean Ambrose wanting to leave the company. Now, someone asked him if Dean Ambrose is really leaving the WWE. Roman Reigns was quoted saying, "Yeah, I'm going to work on that." And then there was a report that I mentioned in Friday's Off the Script where WWE is hopeful that with Roman Reigns being back in the locker room, that they are hopeful that he could convince Dean Ambrose to stay with the WWE. It was also reported in the same Off the Script on Friday that Dean Ambrose has never looked happier having Roman Reigns, his brother, back in the locker room, and Dean Ambrose was said to be very emotional that he didn't even go out and hug Roman Reigns during the open of Monday Night Raw like Seth Rollins did, and they had to rewrite the plans during the show for Reigns and Rollins to save Ambrose later on in the night, in which they teased the Shield reunion. Now, with Reigns returning to the WWE, he said he will take care of Ambrose wanting to leave the company, that he's going to try and talk to him. It appears that WWE Fastlane could be more than just the last stop before WrestleMania, because it could also see a full-fledged return of the Shield as a stable. Spare me. Now, we've been told that WWE currently has an angle planned this week on Raw that will move Dean Ambrose closer to a Shield reunion. He stayed in the ring after Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins saved him last week on Raw, but there's still time to get the band back together. Now we'll have to wait and see what happens with this storyline and what WWE ends up doing from this point on. A lot of it could depend on if they can convince Dean Ambrose to stay, because WWE historically doesn't continue to push someone in a spotlight program unless they plan on remaining with the company. Does this realistically interest you in any way whatsoever? I mean, I don't want to talk about this again, but it was in the news. Dean Ambrose. Big plans for Dean Ambrose. There are no big plans for Dean Ambrose because the big plans you had for Dean Ambrose, you fucked him over. The big plans for Dean Ambrose were him being a heel. The big plans for Dean Ambrose were away from the Shield. The Shield is only back together to once again pull on the heartstrings of the WWE fans in light of Roman's remission announcement about his leukemia. This is not needed. This is not needed. I don't know what the plans are for Roman Reigns moving forward, but what they're doing right now is rehashing old storylines before he actually went away, and they're continuing them now that he's back. And Ambrose, all that he did, that great moment that is now erased from Monday Night Raw memory. The fact that he turned heel on Seth Rollins after they won the tag team titles and turned his back on his brothers, turning heel in one of the best heel turns of the modern era for WWE. It was still a shock to everybody, especially on the night that it happened. You fucked it over. You proceeded to book this guy in a clown-like fashion. You proceeded to book him like fucking Bane from The Dark Knight Rises. Leather jacket, gold chain. He came out with Riot Squad members. You had a new siren to his theme music. He was taking injections from fake doctors on TV. Give me a break. This is what they did. Then you feud him with Seth Rollins. And the match that they had at TLC was complete garbage. This blood feud that was supposedly to fight for the name of Roman Reigns and what he did on the night of Roman, his own brother, going away with leukemia. You turned that match into a fucking Greco-Roman wrestling match. They started the match with a fucking headlock. A Greco-Roman knuckle lock. Are you kidding me? And then you wonder why nobody gave a shit about Dean Ambrose going forward. He was in the Royal Rumble. He got eliminated by Aleister Black in like 3 minutes. The fate of Dean Ambrose was pretty much sealed. Now that Roman Reigns is back, he's happy. Now they want to start booking for Dean Ambrose again. What, you can't book for Dean Ambrose without Roman Reigns? You can't book without you can't book for Seth Rollins without Roman Reigns? I don't know why these guys need to be intertwined together all the time. The only one, honestly, the only one that has legitimately got me out of my seat with excitement was Seth Rollins. Roman is dead to me. Roman is not exciting at all. The character is complete fucking garbage. It is nothing but just fucking jammed down your throat, nauseating garbage. Enough of this Superman overcoming all odds and he's a fighter and all this other bullshit. I don't give a fuck about that. Dean Ambrose, you have the makings of a fucking great psychotic heel right then and there. And then WWE proceeds to book him in childish-like fashion. The only one that ever did anything for me out of the Shield was Seth Rollins. When he first turned heel, I was a big fan of it. Then he turned babyface, and the second time he really got me to pay attention to him was that IC title run that he was on, that WWE seemingly fucked over for Roman Reigns. They took all that Rollins did, he got over organically. Finally, after everything was just falling into place, he got over naturally with the fans. And WWE apparently didn't like that. So they took that, they killed it, and they put him in the shadow of Roman Reigns with another Shield reunion. And he had to live in the shadow. The IC title had to live in the shadow of Roman Reigns. This is their big plan. That was the only member of the Shield that did anything for me. If you're going to proceed to book Dean Ambrose in the shadow of Roman Reigns again, how is he going to get over? How are you going to make sense of what happened back when he turned on Seth Rollins in 2018? How? By aligning him with Roman right out of the gate? I don't understand why you just don't pick up where Dean Ambrose left off. Roman's back. Roman should have an issue with Dean Ambrose. Roman should have this situation where he teaches Dean Ambrose some tough love. I love you, but you're a fucking asshole for what you did. You know? I don't know why they just don't really play up the fact that what happened then happened. Do it. And then if you want to get them back together, at least on the same page, and I'm not talking about a Shield reunion, then you could go about that as well. One more final send-off for the Shield reunion. You have Roman and Dean go at it at WrestleMania. Roman teaches him some tough love. That could be the program from Fastlane on to WrestleMania. They fight at WrestleMania. And at the end of the Rollins-Lesnar match, when Rollins pins the Beast for the Universal Championship, you got Roman. And then all of a sudden Dean comes out and he realized that he fucked up. And he wants to celebrate this moment with his brothers. And you get the Shield fist pump. It's simple booking. It ties up loose ends. It finishes off everything that you started. And you start anew with all three guys. Whether Ambrose stays or Ambrose goes. I don't know. At this point, if Ambrose is ultimately going to go back to being the babyface that he was, I have zero interest in Dean Ambrose being in the WWE. They're merely keeping him around for the sake of keeping him around so that he doesn't go anywhere else. But meanwhile, if there's no change, if there's no real change to the Dean Ambrose character, then I am absolutely just done with Dean Ambrose. I have zero interest. He's not going to add any value to the show. He's not going to make the show or the segments that he's in better. He's not going to make his matches better. The guy's fucking boring. Boring. His in-ring work is boring. There's got to be some real change to Dean Ambrose. This is absolutely going to be the opposite effect. Roman being back is going to be bad for Dean Ambrose. He may be happy that his brother is okay and his brother is back. But as far as Dean Ambrose's character and direction in the WWE, this is them being content with him staying, yet they have no real plans. Dean Ambrose will be considered the third wheel in the Shield. And I know I wouldn't want to be considered the fucking third wheel of anything. Dean Ambrose has the potential and the talent to be someone on his own and be great at it. You had the opportunity to do that, and you fucked up. Now that Roman's back, this is just one of many instances that Roman will fuck up. Believe me. You don't believe me? Watch. If there's no real change to Ambrose's character, done. I want nothing to do with Dean Ambrose. Moving on here, man. Reportedly, WWE is not planning an all-women's pay-per-view this year. WWE Evolution was a huge event, and it brought plenty of fanfare with the show's announcement. In a lot of fans' opinions, WWE Evolution was also one of the best events that WWE held in 2018. However, they might not be too ready to throw a second show onto the calendar. There were plenty of hints that holding an all-female pay-per-view could become an annual thing. Stephanie even said it. It could become the women's Wrestlemania if they wanted it to. Over time. They didn't make history on one night. History is made over consistency and doing the same thing each time better than the last. Now, however, that might not be the case because according to Raja, they are reporting that WWE is not currently planning an all-female pay-per-view in 2019 as there is none listed on their projected events calendar. That could always change. I'm not really holding that to heart there. That could always change. WWE usually comes up with, things that they want to do. Oh, look, we'll do this. We got space in the calendar to do this. So it might be a little bit early to jump to conclusions, but they could always add that later on. It was noted that WWE could always change this around or designate a previously booked show as a female exclusive event. However, it doesn't appear to be on the schedule right now. Last year, WWE booked Evolution very close to the Saudi Arabia event, Crown Jewel. This timing was likely on purpose as women are still not permitted to perform in Saudi Arabia. This is an interesting development since everyone who was asking about holding a second event seemed very hopeful about it, seeing how well WWE Evolution turned out. Listen, I'm not going to cry. You might have some of these fucking idiots on social media, these snowflakes crying on social media that there's not an all-women's pay-per-view. Who cares? Who cares? Do you want a pay-per-view for the sake of having a pay-per-view, or do you want a pay-per-view that actually has some fucking meaning, some build, some storyline, and some investment on your end? How much investment did you have in Evolution? How much? Zero. First of all, it was spearheaded by Ronda Rousey and Nikki fucking Bella. Okay? Nikki Bella, who rather shop for Versace dresses, lasted longer than Ruby Riott did in the main event. Mistake number one. Number two, there was absolutely zero build for any of those matches outside of Charlotte and Becky and the Mae Young Classic between Toni Storm and Io Shirai in the finals of that tournament. That was it. Everything else was put together at last minute just for the sake of putting on a fucking pay-per-view. Number three, no storylines were built up for this show. You could go back to number two, and this kind of interweaves itself into number three. WWE put more emphasis on Crown Jewel than they did Evolution. So why would I want this show to be in the same spot on the calendar with another Saudi show when it's going to happen all over again? The same way it did in 2018. I would rather them actually, now this might be fucking mind-numbing to some people, but why don't you just have one fucking pay-per-view per month and give at least some breathing room, some time for storylines to develop? They had nothing going into Evolution, and they had nothing going into Crown Jewel. This is why we got the World Cup, folks, because it takes up at least an hour and a half of your fucking pay-per-view. On top of that, Strowman and Lesnar had to be rewritten because of Roman Reigns. AJ Styles had to battle Samoa Joe when it was supposed to be Daniel Bryan because nobody wanted to go over there. Give me a break. The reason why we got the World Cup was because WWE did nothing to promote that show the way it should have been. If they wanted to make it a big deal, they would have put more emphasis on storylines. So it was in and out, a quick money grab, and that was it. On to Evolution. That was it. As long as the Saudi government and the Saudi prince got his WWE show, whatever. This is exactly why I hate these shows. It's great business for WWE. It would be stupid for them not to take the money. But for people like me, who are fucking sick and tired at that point of the year with WWE programming, because that's when they just go into fucking sleep mode, they give you nothing. They give you absolutely nothing that you are sitting at home wanting to invest your time in. So why would you give me another all-women's pay-per-view when it's going to be sandwiched in between another Saudi show, whether it's Crown Jewel or another fucking stupid name, and then the Survivor Series? Why? Just for the sake of like, oh, look, the women have their own show. I'd rather them have no show and just call it a day if it's going to be half-assed. If you want the women to have a show, then treat the fucking show as important and book storylines and make the fucking shit matter in the time that you're building up to the pay-per-view. I don't have any more to say on the topic. Stop your crying. Stop your bitching. You don't need to have your own pay-per-view for the fucking sake of the women. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. You want something? Do it 100%, not 25% like you did in the 2018 version. Fucking clowns. I don't know how much more common sense I have to fucking instill in you fucking people. Anyway, on to more important news. My boy Tommaso Ciampa, suffering from a neck injury. I don't know what the hell's going on here, but apparently this is not good news for anybody. It's not good news for me. It's not good news for you who are fans of the storyline here with Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. And it's not good news for NXT because now WWE has to rewrite storylines potentially. And I don't know where this is going to lead. Because the whole NXT TakeOver New York theme is going to be about Johnny getting the world title. And if he can't take the world title from Tommaso Ciampa, then it's going to be bittersweet. Because Ciampa is the villain, and he needs to be the guy that is defeated in the end by Johnny Gargano. Now, Tommaso Ciampa, we all feared that he was injured in that tag team match with the Bar on SmackDown Live. Because he came down really, really, really bad. I don't know if it was his injured knee or if it was the other knee, but I thought that it was a worst-case scenario coming out of that match. Apparently, he was okay coming out of that match. It was something else. Tommaso Ciampa has been out of action with a neck injury that has been lingering. It's been a lingering situation for the past 5 weeks, if not longer. There is a reason why Ciampa did not compete this week on WWE television, and the company had to make some big changes to this week's tag team match because he was out of commission. Now, as PW Insider is reporting, Ciampa's neck problem caused WWE to cancel a supposed fatal 4-way tag team match on Raw. It would have been The Revival, DIY, Ricochet and Black versus Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. It doesn't stop there because depending on how serious Tommaso Ciampa's neck injury is, they might have to change up some bigger plans for the NXT title. Ciampa was supposedly set to defend Goldie at NXT TakeOver New York against Johnny Gargano, and is also competing in the Dusty Tag Team Classic. Much of the tournament was already filmed, but it will be interesting to see how WWE deals with this on television. Now, I know DIY is set to face the Undisputed Era in the first round. It's going to be interesting to see how much work Ciampa actually did here in this match with a supposed neck injury. At this time, WWE has the mindset that all options are on the table when it comes to how they will remedy this situation creatively. As of this Monday, Tommaso Ciampa was not cleared to compete. Hopefully, that changes. Man, this is fucking terrible. This is the worst news that NXT could have possibly ever received. And I don't know. I could have swore I seen it was a serious neck injury from either Meltzer, that it was, WWE was downplaying how serious it was, but it's really serious, and WWE really didn't let anybody else know how serious it was. But he reported it, I believe. If it's as serious as people are stating, this is terrible. I don't know what this means. All options are on the table, apparently. I don't know what that means. Now, I know what they filmed. I know what they filmed because after NXT this past week, and after I recorded my review, I went back and I looked at some of the happenings that were going to happen in the following weeks to come. And by the looks of it, now, we didn't need the NXT spoilers to understand where they were going with the NXT titles. It was always going to be Ciampa and Gargano. This was second nature. I mean, a fucking idiot could have realized where they were going with this. But if it's not Ciampa and Gargano, I genuinely don't know what WWE would do. Normally, I'm a very creative individual, and we had a lot of fun when Aleister Black went down. It was easy enough to just slide Johnny and Ciampa in there in another match, another barn burner at TakeOver Brooklyn, SummerSlam weekend. This instance, if Ciampa can't go for TakeOver, I don't know what they do. This is a month away from TakeOver New York. If Ciampa is not ready to go and he is unable to compete, I don't know what they do. Now, this could end up being great. WWE may end up having to write the entire fucking car all over again. They may end up having some sort of tournament for the NXT title. I don't know. I don't want to jump to any conclusions because what I want is Ciampa healthy, number one. Number two, his match with Johnny being the last thing I see, and the final chapter written for Johnny Gargano before he moves on to life after Ciampa. But if this is as serious as people are saying it is, I genuinely don't know where WWE would go from here. And what even stings more is the fact that Ciampa and Gargano are going to be working Raw and SmackDown, and they're going to remain in NXT for the time being. It's not permanent. Aleister Black might be the only one permanent. Ricochet will probably still be doing NXT, and he'll probably be doing both Raw and SmackDown here and there. Same thing with Johnny and Ciampa. Aleister Black may be the only one that's permanent on the main roster, because after this, I don't really see anything else for him to do in NXT. But knowing that these guys are going to get rub on the main roster as well, that's got to be devastating. And that's got to hurt as a fan, too, to see him come back after all this and have all that taken away from him. The NXT title, Raw, SmackDown, potential big push on the main roster. But, man, Tommaso Ciampa, he came back from a devastating knee injury. He was out for 9 months. He resurfaced as literally the best thing in the entire company, man. A man who lived his heel character, the likes of which we rarely see in professional wrestling, let alone the WWE. So if there's anybody that's going to be injured, and he's going to be out, and he's going to come back and do it all over again and be even better than he was last time, it's this guy right here. So I wish and I pray that this is not as serious as it is, but neck injuries in the WWE, anything head or neck related in the WWE is a very, very, very sticky situation. If they see the littlest thing off, they will not clear him to compete because his health is more important than anything. I don't know where they go from here, man. I really don't know where they go from here with all of this. Speaking of this, and Tommaso Ciampa being injured, there was a fatal 4-way tag team title match that was rumored for WWE Fastlane. Now, the Revival won the Raw tag team titles, but they haven't been able to win a match on television since. Sucks to be the Revival. They lost to DIY, and then they lost to Aleister Black and Ricochet on Raw. It was noted in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that it looks like a fatal 4-way tag team match was in the works for Fastlane. This would see the Revival defending the titles against the team of Rude and Gable, and then DIY and Aleister Black and Ricochet. It would have been a fatal 4-way tag team match. Now we'll have to wait and see what happens at Fastlane. Hopefully the Revival will be able to secure a victory on television before having to defend the titles in said fashion. We may end up getting, now that DIY, I would like to see Johnny in Cleveland. Now, there was rumors that it was going to be DIY and the Revival in a standard tag team match in Cleveland for the Raw tag team titles, which would have made no sense. You can't beat them, and then you can't give them the fucking titles, because if you give them the titles, then they're also going to be feuding one-on-one in NXT. It would have made absolutely zero sense. So if WWE wants to keep Gargano out for the time being, they could do this match without DIY. They could do the glorious ones, Rude and Gable. They could do Aleister Black and Ricochet, and it could be the Revival. Triple threat match. I'm down for it. Now, I don't know where they go, but the Revival could end up pinning the team of Rude and Gable. As long as Aleister Black and Ricochet are showcased and are really cared for in that match and are made to look good, and they got a great showcase, I'm down. But we'll see what happens with that. I'm not really too keen on giving those teams a tag team title match yet. I think WWE is just really putting them in that situation because they have no other plans for them, and it seems a little rush. But we'll wait and see what happens with the Revival and the tag team titles. All I know is that they need a fucking victory on Monday Night Raw. I don't know where it comes from. I don't care where it comes from, but you can't be beating your Raw tag team champions the way that they've been doing on Monday night. Finally, guys, just to bring some clarity to this storyline, or not storyline, but this story, Bruce Prichard apparently is now the right-hand man of Vince McMahon. He is going to be a part of the new creative team on Monday Night Raw, with him being the major guy there, the head of creative on Monday Night Raw. Now, Meltzer actually reported about this on Wrestling Observer Radio this weekend and stated that Bruce Prichard's new role in WWE reportedly was overstated and not part of the creative team. Now, the original story was that he was rehired and that he was put in top of the creative department on Monday Night Raw. This, apparently, according to Meltzer, is not the case. Dave Meltzer reported on Wrestling Observer Radio that Bruce Prichard's role with WWE and in the pecking order has been a bit overstated, and that he's also a consultant and not on the writing team. I don't know where he is, but as long as the shows get better, I don't really care what Bruce Prichard's role is. Now, he could be a consultant, because there were reports that Bruce Prichard spent a lot of time with Roman Reigns after Monday Night Raw, just going back and forth. He could be a consultant of sorts. Now, he's not with the writing team, says Meltzer. It was previously reported that Prichard is a top creative position, or in a top creative position, on Raw, and will only answer to Vince McMahon. And this was first reported by PW Insider. It is now reported that Prichard's role is that of consultant and not actually on the writing team at all. Prichard recently spoke about his new role in the company, as he said that things have changed a lot in WWE since his last departure, and they are still figuring out his new role. Bruce Prichard still is figuring out his new role. He says this, and I quote, he actually opened up something to wrestle with about his new role in the WWE. I'm extremely happy to be back in the family at WWE. I had my first TV back this past week, had an absolute blast seeing everybody and being back in the fold. There's a lot that still needs to be worked out as far as what my role will be. I'm going to come back and help out wherever I can be most valuable. We're working through it and figuring out where I might fit best. It's something that happened pretty quickly. A lot has changed in 10 years. There's still a lot of questions to be answered. Prichard is said to have got his old job back. He will report directly to Vince McMahon, like I just previously stated, because he knows how to talk to Vince McMahon. Hopefully, bringing Bruce Prichard back will result in a fresh perspective on things after being away for so long. If Bruce is not in a creative role, it's not the end of the world. But if Bruce, realistically, you have to think of it this way. If Bruce is not in a creative role, well, what difference does it make? All the answers and all the fucking decisions go through Vince McMahon anyway. What if Vince McMahon has something going on or brewing in his head? What if Bruce Prichard is a consultant to Vince McMahon and he's going to tell Vince, yeah, Vince, this will work, or Vince, this is not going to work. This is how we need to do it. Bruce Prichard might not be head of creative or on the creative team, but that doesn't matter. As long as Bruce is in Vince's ear, he is unofficially a part of Vince McMahon's creative team. That's all that matters. I don't give a fuck what he does with 30 other fucking clowns on creative. Their ideas may be good, but how many of those ideas usually get pushed to Vince McMahon and how many of them end up on TV? Less than 5%. Maybe. Maybe is what I'm predicting. But if Bruce is a consultant to Vince McMahon and all ideas go through Vince McMahon, then Vince pushes it to Bruce, is it good? Is it not good? That's all I care about. Maybe Vince is the guy who is going to be the voice of reason for Vince. Vince, we can't put this on TV. It's not good. Vince, this doesn't make sense. Vince, there's a lot of logic gaps in this. We need to go back to the drawing board and rewrite this. Vince, this is not going to go over well with the fans. I don't give a shit. So Bruce is telling you that they need to start figuring out what his role is going to be, or a better understanding of what his role is going to be, where he's going to fit best. He's going to fit best right next to Vince McMahon. He's the right-hand man of the devil. Simple. He is Vince McMahon's own personal creative consultant. That's what it is. All this runaround about what Bruce Prichard's going to do. As long as the shows are better, and as long as he is the voice of better reason for Vince McMahon, because the guy cannot do it himself. Vince McMahon, that is. These shows have showed you that Vince is no longer capable of making decisions on his own. So he's trying to get back into the groove with Bruce and someone who knows the product and someone who knows the business, especially now he knows the business and the change that is going on in the wrestling business. Bruce may be the guy that Vince looks forward to, speaking to and throwing ideas off of and bouncing ideas off of, more so than I mentioned, these Hollywood writers who don't give a shit about the wrestling product. So, I don't mind. I don't mind that he's not head of creative. The only creative that matters is Vince, and if Bruce is going to have anything to do with Vince, that's all that matters. Because you're ultimately going to directly be answering to him anyway. And Bruce is doing that directly right out of the gate. So, I don't know why there's this confusion about what Bruce Prichard is going to do. He's back. If he can lend a helping hand and change what Vince McMahon does on television, great. That's all that matters to me. Now, we're going to get out of here in a bit, but I completely forgot to mention two things. One, I got the unboxing to do. So if you guys give a shit about the unboxing, you can obviously stay. If not, then you can click off the video. But one thing that I forgot to mention in the beginning of the podcast, man, I got to get used to doing this because it's relatively new to me. I do have a new website, and it's simple for you guys to remember. It's jdfromny.com. We already have 300 signups already for the mailing list, man. That is fucking unbelievable. I would love if we could get that over 1,000 before Fastlane, man. This is going to be great for everybody because you guys are going to be up to date on literally everything that's happening, meet and greets, when available, uploads, the upload schedule, what's coming to the channel, any news and rumors with me or House of Glory, anything regarding just me personally. I'm going to be giving you guys recommendations on beers, recommendations on bands, music. You guys are going to have the full YouTube lowdown on literally everything, man. We're going to have fun with it. New t-shirts available, sales on Barbershop Window, sales on Bonfire. When a new campaign on Bonfire goes up, you guys will be notified of literally everything, man. So please make sure you guys sign up for the mailing list, jdfromny.com. It's down in the description. If you can't remember that for whatever reason, it's down in the description. So click on that link and go sign up. You're going to see the Off the Script logo there on the homepage. Enter your email. Click to sign up for the updates and the mailing list, and you guys are good to go, man. I will handle the rest. Thank you guys so much for everything, man. But I got to shout out That Wrestling Club as well. They are officially sponsoring the podcast this week, man. ThatWrestlingClub.com. And if you guys are interested in what you see in here, you guys can certainly go to ThatWrestlingClub.com. You guys are going to use code, I believe it's JD from NY. I believe it's JD from NY. And you're going to save anywhere between 15 and 20% off your original purchase, man. So that is the deal right there. And if you guys want to go follow them on Twitter, you guys can certainly do so, man. That Wrestling Club on Twitter. Easy to find. They are one of my favorite boxes of the month, and they definitely give you the most bang for your buck, man. I'm excited to see what's in here. So before we get the hell out of here, let me quickly open this thing and show you guys what's in here. We got a t-shirt. It's my color, man. It's my color. I don't know what it is. I don't know who's on it, but it's my color. Andre the Giant. Apparently, I will not be wearing that out because I don't wear anything Andre the Giant related. I got to wear things that are conversation pieces out, man. But I'll wear this around the house. I'll wear it on the podcast. It's cool. It's cool. It's a good color. It's a good color. Wrestling tunes, man. We got, this is exclusive to That Wrestling Club. So this is Hurricane Helms. And let me turn on my camera so you guys can see this. Hurricane Helms right there. That is awesome. And it's pretty heavy too, man. That thing seems like it's worth its weight for sure. And this is number 2. This is number 2 in the collection. So that is pretty cool, man. And Hurricane Helms just actually signed on with the WWE to be a producer or consultant backstage. And it gives you his attributes on the back right there. Hometown, Planet of the Capes, height 6 foot, weight 215, debut 1991, finisher Eye of the Storm, chokeslam, and vertebraker. So there you go, man. That's a nice little action figure right there, man. Hurricane Helms in That Wrestling Club. More socks. I got more socks than I know what to do with, man. Macho Man Randy Savage. I might wear these to House of Glory. I got my Lucha Underground socks that I wear to House of Glory. So there you go. What do we got here? Another pin. Undertaker pin. Dead Man Talking. Starcast. He's going to be there. I go on my pin wall right behind me. And we got 2 autographs or 1? We got 2 autographs, man. I love it. This is great. I'm definitely framing these, man. One of Edge, right there. One of my favorites of all time. And his theme music is one of the greatest bands of all time. Alter Bridge. When you have Miles Kennedy singing your theme song, man, you are Hall of Fame status immediately. Right there, Edge holding the World Heavyweight Championship, or with the Heavyweight Championship around his waist. That's beautiful. And one that I don't really care for. Kurt Hawkins. Kurt Hawkins. There you go, man. That is in That Wrestling Club. Really, really good stuff, as always, from them. Great stuff. ThatWrestlingClub.com. If you guys want to go and get yours today, use code JD from NY to save yourself some money on your first subscription, man. Bonfire.com/offthescript. Go get your t-shirts, man. Link is down in the description of this very video. Let's try and blow away February, man. Let's do it. Let's do it and start today. Bonfire, the exclusive home of JD's Elite. Link down in the description. Harrys.com/script. You guys know the deal with that. Audibletrial.com/offthescript. Go get yourself 30 days of Audible free and 1 free audio book. And if you guys don't like the service, you guys can cancel within the 30 days and keep your audio book for free. Audibletrial.com/offthescript. Great way to support the show. Follow me on social media. JD from NY206. Both on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. And if you guys missed them, you guys know where to find all my content. Links will be in the eye, right in the top right corner of your screen. That drop down will give you everything that you need, man. Thank you so very much. I'm getting out of here. Sorry for the lack of news, but this is WWE. Hopefully we got more news going into Fastlane weekend. We'll have the Fastlane preview predictions. We'll go over all the top matches. I'll give you my opinions on everything. the latest breaking news going into all those matches for Sunday's event. Monday Night Raw will be the beginning of a new week, man. I'll be covering Monday Night Raw, as always, right here as soon as the show goes off the air. Same with SmackDown Live and NXT. And if I get a chance, Resident Evil 2 will be finished this week as well, man. Thank you guys so very much. Hit that thumbs up. And thank you for another great weekend of Off the Script. I will see you on Monday for Raw. Until then, take care. And I'll see you for the Fastlane week ahead, man. Thank you guys so much, and I'll talk to you later.